Hey folks, this is Stefan with Exclusive Service, and today we're going to talk about topping off your cooling system. So first thing you should do is you can never check the coolant level when the engine's hot. This engine's hot. If I were to open up this cap right now, it could possibly that the system's under pressure and it's going to spray and burn me, right? And whoever else is around, which nobody wants that. Nobody wants injuries. The other thing is, as the coolant expands, or as it gets hot, the coolant expands. So the level will artificially be high over here. So there's no way to really accurately check it when it's hot. You have to check it when it's stone cold. Stone cold, what does that mean? Well, basically you'd be able to touch it and hold your hand on there, right? It's pretty hot. So you have to wait about 8 hours once the engine is cooled down, depending on the ambient temperature, right? So the engine would need to be the same temperature as whatever it is outside. So if it's 90 degrees outside, it's going to be 90 degrees on the engine. So whatever ambient temperature is. That's the only way to really accurately check the coolant level. The other thing is, anytime coolant work has been performed on a vehicle, the best way to accurately make sure that the car leaves with the proper coolant level is to, one, you have to bleed the cooling system to get any air pockets out of it. Two, and there's many methods on how to do that. You know, there's this car has one way to do it. It's like an electric water pump. It'll bleed it automatically. However, you can never really 100% get all of the air out of the system. There's no perfect way. There's people that say that the vacuum way to do it is the way to do it, but you know, I've seen those generate. You still have air pockets somewhere that could be stuck in a heater core somewhere, and it's just stubborn. So the next thing you do is, once you've bled it as best you can in the bay or in the shop, you then take the car on a long road test, like a regular drive cycle, right? So we have someone that does road tests. That's what we pay them to do. So again, depending on how hot it is outside, if it's stone cold, maybe they'll go for a longer road test to get the engine operating temperature, and then the car has to come back and we let it cool down, and we would like to have the car with the nose facing up. That way, if there's any bubbles anywhere or air pockets in the cooling system, they will tend to make their way up towards the most furnace point, which on these cars is typically where the coolant expansion tank sits. You let it sit overnight, and then the next morning, if there's any air pockets, it would have burped up through the tank, and the level would drop. And then you check it in the morning, you top it off, and then you're good to go. So this, you don't have to do it. This is part of our process and our procedures. And again, ever since we started implementing this, the situations where the customers call us the next day to tell us, hey, you just worked on my cooling system and now my coolant level light is back on again. Well, that has pretty much been completely eliminated. So I know it's not always convenient, but in order to reduce, situations like that, that has been our policy. We hope this information helps. Let us know if you have any questions.